there is something going on. There's also awareness that something is going on. So does that mean there are two things? There's a thing that is going on, or just an object, and there's awareness of that object. So does that mean that there are two things? Or is there simply what is going on? Or just the object? Here's a mouse. I'm aware of the mouse, and now you are too. So does that mean there are two things, at least two things, the mouse and awareness of the mouse? Or is there simply the mouse? This is the ground of spiritual practice. It's what gives rise to all the apparent paradoxes and contradictions. Sometimes we're told there is only awareness, and that everything is of the nature of that awareness. So there's only awareness going on. Awareness identifies with whatever it's aware of, to the extent that it loses itself in whatever it's aware of. But whether it does that or not, you could simply say there is just stuff going on. And so in spiritual practice we move from awareness of awareness to what is going on. And when we forget our spiritual practice, this is when we get lost in what is going on, and we forget about the awareness altogether. And chapter 84 expresses this in its own way. Vasistha continued, the plane or space of consciousness itself is known as Bhairava or Shiva. It's usually known as Brahman, but I think there's a reason it's called Shiva here, because in Brahman we've only got the one thing, but in Shiva we have Shiva and Shiva's shadow, who's Bhairavi. Inseparable and non-different from him is his dynamic energy, which is of the nature of the mind. It's the nature of the mind to move. It's the nature of the attention to move. The attention attends to things. The attention never stays still. There's always something which arises that the attention is drawn to. Even if you're a yogi, an advanced yogi sitting in a superconscious state, there's going to be things that you're aware of, that your attention is drawn to. Your attention might be focused on the one thing, but there'll be sensations arising. Your attention might be focused on your breathing or on a god, or it might be focused on the bliss that arises because of that practice. The attention moves. You can keep it still for a while. It's useful to try and train it, but it still has to be directed, it still has to be moved. So this is the nature of the mind. Air is seen or experienced in its motion. Fire is known by its heat. Things are known by their characteristics. We never know the thing itself. We never experience fire directly. We experience the heat of the flame, and we experience its colour and shape. We experience the characteristics of things. The pure consciousness is pure and tranquil, and it is known as Shiva. And this is the characteristic of consciousness. It's a characteristic of awareness. Awareness is not coloured by anything. This Shiva is beyond description. It is the dynamic energy of the Lord which executes all his wishes, as it were, and makes the wishes appear as visions. And this is Bhairavi or Kali. This energy or power or Maya is consciousness. She is a living force and therefore she is called the Jiva. Since this creation manifestation is natural to the infinite consciousness, she is known as Prakriti, or nature. Since she is the cause of all things being seen and experienced, she is known as Kriya, or action. So this is the dynamic energy of the Lord Shiva. This is the mind. This is what brings everything into creation. This is the moving attention which gives rise to the ego sense. And this is the dynamic of spiritual practice. We move between one and the other. We move between awareness of awareness and awareness of everything which arises within awareness, which is simply what is going on at this particular moment. Now we have what is almost a hymn to Maya. This is delusion. This is the phenomenal universe which we take as real, which we think is external and self-existing. We get many epithets which are used in devotional songs.